Hello, everyone. My name is Courtney Pollock, and I am the Customer Marketing Coordinator for SWK Technologies. I'd like to welcome you to our webinar, Attracting and Retaining the Right Talent, presented by ADP and ZipRecruiter. Before we get started, let's go over some housekeeping items. Everyone has been placed on mute to keep the background noise to a minimum. However, throughout the webinar, you can submit any questions you have. If you'd like to submit a question, look for the questions section in your GoToWebinar, and we will answer all questions at the end of the presentation. We're also recording this presentation, and it will be distributed tomorrow to all attendees, as well as those who registered but were unable to attend today. And finally, we would appreciate your participation in our polls throughout the webinar and our closing survey. With that said, we appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to attend this webinar. We're here to help you get the most out of your software solutions and to help you find an easier way to run your business. Today, we're excited to have our close partner ADP with us to talk about the current trends in human capital management, along with market insights from experts at ZipRecruiter. They'll also share how their solutions solve the challenges that these trends currently present. So whether you're here researching a new solution or you're just here to learn, we'd like to encourage you to get an expert opinion by asking any questions you have. And lastly, as a quick reminder, SWK is constantly sharing important updates and software tips and tricks on our social media channels. We encourage you to follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel where we post more learning videos like this. With that said, I'm going to hand it over to Ashley to introduce herself and the rest of our presenters.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Courtney. Glad to be here. So like Courtney mentioned, my name is Ashley Kudrowski, and I've been with ADP for almost 12 years now. I work specifically with our mid-market accounts, and I specialize in all things talent and benefits. So would love to just let you know who else is on the call that you're going to be hearing from in just a moment. We also have our partner, Lauren Welke. She's the Sales Enablement Lead, Strategic Partnerships for ZipRecruiter. Really excited to hear from her. And then we also have my partner in crime, Bradley McGarry. He is a HCM business consultant, technology expert on the ADP side of things. He's going to be showing us some of the technology when we get to it in a moment, but really, again, a great panel here, and we're looking forward to jumping in. So quick agenda for today. Really to start with, from an agenda standpoint, we'll touch on the economic pulse, really, as we're close to the midway point of 2023, really 2023 business trends, what we're hearing, what the pulse is happening on. Next, we'll answer the burning question of, do we continue to hire and why now? Really going to lean into Zip and their expertise and really around that question. And then we'll round it out with some ideas and options to help solve via technology for our topic of the day, and that's attracting and retaining the right talent. But first, I think it's important to understand, how did we get here, right? So the economy has felt all year like we're in a tug of war, back and forth between optimism and concern. There's conflicting indicators painting a rosy scene of certain growth on one side, while simultaneously projecting fear and uncertainty on the other. So it's confusing and it's contradictory, and it feels like it's constantly changing, that back and forth, that tug of war. And for you all as an HR executive or practitioner, you may be asking yourself, right, how will my organization respond to this shifting landscape? And that brings us really to what we've identified as our 2023 HCM trends. So as HCM trends here at ADP, we've honed in on 3 major HCM trends to emerge from all of this uncertainty and from all of this noise, and what we've identified that's needed for organizations to be best positioned for success in the back half of the year. So our top experts, in partnership with ADP's 55,000 clients, really worked through these ideas to determine these 3 biggies. The first one being investment in employee experience, leadership development, and process improvement and resiliency. And we'd love to hear from you all. Just curiosity, you'll see a poll pop up here in just a moment, but really just open up that poll, let us know, for the second half of 2023, which of these trends most resonates to what your organization is focused on or experiencing? And again, this is investments in employee experience, leadership development, process improvement, and resiliency. Which of those 3 is ringing a bell for you all? We'll give you a moment here to respond.
Yes, thank you to everyone who has responded so far. We'll leave the poll open for a little while longer, so you can still get those choices in. And we're going to close the poll out in just a few seconds. So if you haven't had an opportunity to respond yet. Okay,
Awesome.
let's share these results.
Ooh, okay. A wide distribution and really seeing investment in employee experience. That's no surprise. A little bit of what we expected, right? Investment in employee experience as we talk about uncertainty, as we talk about the employee experience. That's really a big one. So I think let's dig into that one. Let's dig in specifically to employee experience and what it means, again, for you all as an organization. Move forward, please. There we go. Okay, so let's dig into that one, right? As we look across what remains the changing landscape, we see all of you leaning in to support your workforce through whatever may come their way. All of you, again, selected employee experience. It's something that's top of mind. It's something that executive and practitioners from our client base tell us all the time that they're focused on. So you all, again, on the executive side and on the practitioner side, you're doing all of this while also dealing with so many variables today. So between pressures, economic fluctuations, ongoing global challenges, it's a really unique time in the world, let alone the world of the work. And when we think about it from a talent standpoint, really, in this time of uncertainty and change, employees may also be feeling that strain. You know, and I think it's important to remember that talent remains the lifeblood of any organization in the ability to find, nurture, motivate, evaluate, and at times even effectively stretch your people is often the key to finding success in challenging environments. And really just to summarize, when we think about the role your people play throughout all of this noise and all of this uncertainty, is employees are the base of a strong and long-running organization. And when you really boil it down, most simply put, your employee success is your company's success. So that brings us really to one of the topics we wanted to dig into today, again, is why hire, why now? And I did want to go ahead and turn it over to our friends and trusted ADP partner, ZipRecruiter, to speak more to this. So Lauren, take it away.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Ashley. Super excited to be here. Again, my name is Lauren Welke, and I run sales enablement across 4 partnerships at ADP. And so today we're going to jump into some labor market trends. We'll go through the ZipRecruiter and the hiring landscape. We'll talk about the ADP and ZipRecruiter solution, and then we will go through some tips and tricks for job optimization as well. So jumping right into the labor market trends. So no sign of recession. So the jury, kind of like Ashley said, the jury's still out on whether this recession is going to occur. But we do know that with 1 quarter of data baked in 2023, there was no sign of a recession, at least in quarter 1. As a matter of fact, what we continued to see was job growth, but admittedly, those job gains did narrow slightly in regard to industry. Nonetheless, job growth has remained remarkably stable over the past 4 quarters. And double clicking even a little more into those industries, you'll see the majority of industries continue to see strong job growth month over month, with very few industries affected. And so the overall effect is that the labor market remains unusually tight, with unemployment staying below 4% on a year-over-year basis. Now, if we had to call out what we would call like a silver lining, we could note that in the first quarter, hiring became a little bit easier, with turnover, wage growth, and labor actions kind of starting to moderate a little bit. Now, this isn't to say that hiring, managing, and finding qualified and top talent isn't still a challenge, but what we can say is that Q1 saw a much more favorable hiring environment than the months leading up to the pandemic. All right, so next we will jump into the ZipRecruiter overview. And so what I can tell you is that our mission is to actively connect people to their next great opportunity. And so here at ZipRecruiter, we really genuinely care about getting people hired. And this is evident through our mission, again, which is to actively connect people to their next great opportunity. So the way that we were founded and born was kind of like when you watch Shark Tank, there's usually some frustration that somebody had with the status quo. Our founder was frustrated with dealing with, endless resumes, multiple logins and workflow systems, and pretty much thought, there has to be a better way. And so with one click, we're able to post a job one time, and on our side, we distribute it not only to our website, ziprecruiter.com, but 100 different job sites and get candidates to apply that way where they are, wherever they are in their hiring journey. And what I can tell you is that we are the fastest growing online employment marketplace. We are #1 rated hiring site in the US, and we provide employers with access to 10 million job seekers on a weekly basis. And so a huge benefit too is that we capture a really diverse and wide range of talent across various skill sets and audiences, presenting really a much wider talent pool to employers and those that are hiring than they've ever really been able to tap into before. And it's really important to us that we ensure we're reaching candidates where they're looking for roles or whether they're looking for roles or researching their next great opportunity. And so we've developed quite sticky solutions to give job seekers a real reason to visit ZipRecruiter now beyond just finding a job, whether that's, looking into really rich salary data insights, tools to optimize their resume and cover letter, and support to understand what skills translate across industries. And we're really keen on ensuring that employers can discover, connect, and easily engage with top talent through our partnership with ADP WorkforceNow. And I know I touted this earlier, but these are just some, really happy, people that have used ZipRecruiter. And again, this results in an experience that engages with over 10 million candidates on a weekly basis. So we're super excited about that. Now, in a couple minutes, Bradley is going to go through the demo, but before that, we are going to talk a little bit just about the ZipRecruiter solution within WorkforceNow as a little bit of a teaser. So what I can tell you is that ZipRecruiter and ADP major accounts using the WorkforceNow platform are partnering to offer ZipRecruiter embedded within the WorkforceNow ATS recruitment module in the US. Why this works is that with ZipRecruiter, you're able to hire quickly, cost effectively, seamlessly, right from the WorkforceNow platform. It's easy, flexible job posting, shortening time to hire with our smart matching technology. And again, it's a free, seamless integration, all within one platform. And clients, depending on where they, what segment they're in, will have access to either 3 or 6 sponsored job slots and unlimited organic traffic, with the ability to purchase anywhere from 14 to 17 additional job slots and no limits on the ability to buy traffic boost. Now, clients can access their sponsored job slots with one click within the WorkforceNow platform. So might be a little bit hard to see, but actually where you see that green box is where you would activate a job slot. So it's quite simple, but again, Bradley will probably do a much better job showing this live on the demo. And we can move over to the next slide. Now, so you've heard us talk briefly, about organic versus sponsored traffic. Organic's unlimited, sponsored is where you get access to, a little bit more. And so just to go over briefly what sponsored entails, it entails being searchable on ZipRecruiter.com, us sending emails out on behalf of the employer to the candidate, highlighting the job, showing that job in suggested jobs on a sidebar or in an email. And then additionally, if the candidate has it turned on, we'd be showing the job in push notifications, in our mobile app. And then when we say partner search and emails, that's where we're talking about the 100+ different job sites that we're sending the job to. So they're searchable on those sites, and we're also sending, they're also sending emails out to their candidates as well. And again, when we talk about organic, we're just talking about the job going to ZipRecruiter.com and our mobile app. Now, we just talked about sponsored. That goes kind of everywhere else, right? All of our partner websites, emails, suggested jobs. now, and we showcased where that was. This is how you would toggle on organic. It's on the left-hand side under external job sites. And then at the very bottom there where you see that green box, that is where you would toggle it on to make sure all of your jobs would be going to ZipRecruiter. And if you're more of a visual learner like me, this slide just talks to you, again, shows you it's going to ZipRecruiter.com. That's what we mean by ZipRecruiter search, and then our mobile app. So you can post as many jobs as you want that way as well. And then last but not least, we always talk about turning on what we call Zip Apply. This is really similar to if you think of like Easy Apply. It's just a way that candidates can apply to a job, but just by clicking, Easy Apply, and it imports their profile. It makes for a really frictionless, really seamless application experience. We know that we tend to lose a ton of candidates when, they're going to a different web page. It feels really heavy and like a long experience. And so we know that job seekers are 3 times more likely to submit an application on ZipRecruiter if the Zip Apply is turned on than what we call external applied jobs, where they pop out into a different window. And with that, I will turn it over to, I believe, Bradley, but I could be wrong. It might be Ashley again.
Not quite. Well, Bradley's, he's going to be the star of our show. We'll hear from Brad in a moment. But thank you, Lauren. ADP Zip, such a great partnership. Like we mentioned, we'll get back to recruitment, and Brad will get a chance to show us it in a moment. But we also just want to answer, what else does technology do? Where does it come in here? And really, what's ADP's role in helping support really this investment in employee experience, this ability to find and retain the right people? So our role in technology is focused on supporting you and your people, and we do that via our innovative tools, and they're designed to help your organization remain agile. We talked about that push and pull, wherever things may go, just ready to anticipate and respond to changes in the market. And hey, shameless brag, we're really proud to have been the leader for over 70 years in doing so and coming up with these innovative solutions. And really on the talent front, right? So from a talent perspective, our product innovation is focused, it's hyper-focused on talent and how to activate via the employee experience. So examples include the applicant tracking and recruitment system we've been talking about in partnership with Zip, and we'll view in a moment, but also things like our learning management system with the ability to upload content, the ability to build out career paths and build out educational pieces for your people. We also just rolled out a new succession planning module that includes a 9-box and helps companies better plan for the future and better plan for future vacancies. So just lots of options, lots of things that we're working on. And we do all of this through integrated tools that are really designed to help drive engagement and results. And we think ultimately, right, when we're able to drive that engagement, an engaged workforce creates a productive, profitable organization. So again, star of today in conjunction with Brad has been recruitment, right? Lauren spoke about the Zip integration, and Brad's going to take us into it in a moment and just show us really how to make a stellar first impression with a new candidate, attract the best applicants, and overall have a great experience, not just for new hires who are coming into the organization, but for practitioners who are working through and helping manage what this influx of hiring looks like. And check this out, this is another really, really cool feature that we're excited, and Brad's gonna show in a moment, and it's just a testament to that ADP's middle name is literally data. So within the ADP WorkforceNow system, right, we have the ability to tap into predictive analytics, and this helps determine who at your organization may actually have 1 foot in the door and 1 foot out the door, right? Who are these potential flight risks to leave the organization? And if you just pause and think about that, think of how powerful that is. Having an idea of who may actually be at risk of turning over within your organization before they actually leave. So this is our turnover probability tool. Again, Brad's going to show us as well, but it leverages 30 factors like commute time or peer compensation, all of these different metrics that may contribute to someone's sentiment to want to leave an organization. And by knowing that before this, it can help prevent employee turnover by finding out, again, who's actually at risk for leaving your organization. And more importantly than that, it's that insight into why. Why might this person leave? What can we do proactively to hedge off this change of employment? So really really powerful stuff, something we're really proud of, something that I think you'll love to take a peek at. So with that being said, I'll turn it over to Brad to take us in.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Ashley. And here I will take over and share my screen here. Just to make sure the technology is supporting what we're looking to do. Can everyone see my screen, or can I get a thumbs up from my team if we can see the welcome picture and hear me? Awesome. All right. So welcome everyone. My name's Brad McGarry and I work as a solutions consultant with ADP. My role in today's call is really how can I best showcase our technology to align with some of those internal goals that you had mentioned were important. What we saw initially, 57% of you had voted that really increasing employee experience and engagement is important to the organization. And that starts and continues along really two areas I'm going to showcase. The first is attracting talent, so recruiting, and then retaining talent, so that turnover probability. And for everyone on the call here, would love to invite you all as we start to look at recruiting. If you wanted to scan this QR code I have here, this is to a mobile and offline resource you can utilize to see and kind of put yourself in the shoes of an applicant. Should you choose to utilize ADP's recruiting technology, you have the ability to build out a custom career center for your organization. So feel free to take this one that I have built and really envision how could this help your organization and streamline your hiring process. All right, now with that in mind, what can we do in the ADP technology that really helps to streamline? Well, the first is our in-house applicant tracking solution. What you're able to do is you can build out job requisitions in WorkforceNow, which is the payroll and HR technology we're looking at. And of course, front and center, we're gonna see that we link out and connect to ZipRecruiter. Depending on the size of your organization, you would receive either 3 or 6 sponsored job slots. And think of those like parking spaces and how valuable that can be. If you have 3 to 6 open positions at any given time, just being able to post out to ZipRecruiter adds so much in terms of a qualified candidate pool. So we're really happy about that partnership. But with that in mind here, if you see here kind of what I have up, so I have the building of a job requisition. What you can do for your organization is indicate some key details, like what jobs are we hiring for, what credentials do we want to make sure these individuals have as they're applying for a job. Also, when it comes to factoring or kind of sourcing our candidates, who's most qualified when it comes to questions they might be answering? You can identify or ask some questions about background, experience, maybe level of usage with a certain technology or a certification. So ultimately, as you're building out your job requisitions, a big key component can be understanding who might fit for the organization. And with that in mind, what you can do is take that requisition and source it out to a few of these places we had mentioned. Front and center, we see here that partnership with ZipRecruiter. So you are able to link up and post out to your ZipRecruiter job slots. But also included, we saw that career center. So through one fell swoop, you could take that job requisition, you could put a career center on your company website, you can embed this directly to invite applicants to apply for a job. Maybe they found your job or found your organization through another resource like your company's social network. You could take this resource and post it there, but really aims to give your potential candidates and hopefully new employees an easy way to apply. And finally, with that in mind, one of the strong components of the ADP technology is really having an easy place to track your candidates for you as practitioners within your organization. So regardless of the source of your applications, whether they're coming from ZipRecruiter or maybe that internal or external career center, they're all coming back to the same place for you. We also have something really strong called profile relevancy. And we talked about those questions like identifying level of experience or background. Well, you can tell the ADP applicant tracking system, hey, if someone has this level, we think that would help to set them apart. What you're kind of automatically seeing in the technology is that it's automatically going to be letting you know who might be more qualified just based on what's on their application. But of course, you can take it a step further. We can view resumes, we can view responses to those questions, we could communicate with candidates or even send a potential strong fit and offer letter. So this applicant tracking system is really designed to take you through all those steps from initially building out and posting a requisition all the way up until hiring someone and making sure that they're coming on board. All right. Now, with that in mind, I mentioned we would have two sides. We would have that attracting talent, and now we want to showcase a little bit on retaining talent. And this is one of my favorite pieces of the Workforce Now technology. Within our analytics, we do have a feature called turnover probability. And like Ashley mentioned, that factors in about 30 different data points. And what those might identify are, okay, is there someone that might be eligible or might be at risk of turning over based on maybe they have a long commute, perhaps they're being underpaid compared to industry standards, maybe they've just been with the organization for a long time and it's been a while since they've received their last pay increase or incentive bonuses. Imagine being able to take action when it comes to turnover before it would even happen or before we might feel like an employee would be turning over based on some of those items we might not even be thinking about. And that's really what turnover probability aims to showcase for you. We see for my sample organization in my database here, like who might be at risk, where are we seeing our highest potential individuals that could be at risk of turning over? Do we have some managers that have a lot of high risk employees? And it's really neat. If I click on an individual, I can see specifically what those factors might be. Like, could it be that they are being underpaid compared to industry standards? Or maybe it's not that. Maybe they just haven't been with the organization for long enough, or they've been there for too long. Ashley mentioned the one like a commute. Could that be very long for them? Are they not receiving that much overtime in a position that maybe there's a strong component of pay that is coming from overtime or premium hours worked? So this tool, again, is just running data for you based on your day-to-day operations. You have a lot on your plate when it comes to just simply operating your core business functions. What the ADP technology can do for you here is help to identify those individuals that might be at risk of turning over and really give you that insight to stop it before it might happen. All right, Ashley, I will turn it back to you for our next piece here.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brad. And I really love that turnover probability. I'm glad we had a chance to take a peek at it. A couple of just other tangible examples of clients that I've worked with, just to add a little color. I've seen some that have recognized employees that were going to leave and they were able to have a bonus tied to a particular vesting date. Another client was able to hedge off someone leaving by determining that this key employee just needed a tweak to their scheduling. So again, really cool with that turnover probability. All right, but we've got one more also really cool feature that we wanted to show, and that's what you see up here on the screen. That's our voice of the employee. So cat's out of the bag, one of the big trends in the HCM world right now, employee listening has become one of the fastest growing HR tech items in the market. And it's really because more and more organizations are considering leveraging employee experience in their culture. All of you responded that that was the main thing that you're focused on the back half of 2023. And it's no surprise, again, that the tools we've created have really been to combat that. So how it works, how Voice of the Employee works. It's built within your HR system of record. And this is really important when you're thinking about a listening and a survey tool, because all of your employee information is already loaded. So we've got things like names, location of workplace, manager alignment. It takes that heavy lifting off of your shoulders and streamlines the communication process with that unified database. And so our clients can use 3 types of surveys. There's first type of survey is our pre-built survey, and these are made to have an immediate impact. So these are things like our engagement pulse survey and resilience survey. And these surveys with these pre-canned questions are built by our behavioral scientists, and they're experts at the ADP Research Institute. So really cool job, behavioral scientists that try and understand what motivates people. They've built into these questions to capture that sentiment of how employees are feeling. Next, custom surveys are an option within Voice of the Employee. So these can be true or false surveys, yes, no surveys, multiple choice, open-ended, questions with a sliding scale where employees can give their feedback. So again, a really great option to be able to customize something to understand and listen to those employees. And lastly, broadcast types. So these are one-way communications. Think about examples that can go out to employees around disaster relief, welcome messages, general announcements, birthdays, work anniversaries, that one-way communication that's pushed out to your workforce. So in addition, voice of the employee, right? It's not just a survey engine. We talked about those 3 options, but it's a continuous listening tool to get that feedback throughout the employee life cycle. So not just at a particular point, not just when they're brought on or not just when you're separating, but really all the way from recruitment, all the way through down to that separation. So this tool is very much designed, again, with those behavioral experts, like this is what this tool was meant to do. It's meant to help attract, retain, engage talent, have that pulse, have that thumb, you know, and understand that thumb really where employees are feeling, how you, again, as practitioners and executives can take that information. So we're giving clients that way to lean into that employee sentiment, just listen to what matters most from the employee's perspective, and then more importantly than that, take that information, arm your leaders with insights to make quick and impactful decisions, really things, again, that can have a huge impact on the employee experience. So I think, Brad, let's take a peek at this one as well.
Awesome. All right. I know it's been a while since I was walking through something with everyone, so excited to well, thank you. Excited to showcase this piece. And again, this is one that has gotten some really strong positive feedback so far. I'm going to ask for just one more thumbs up. Can we see my screen with the Crate survey? All right, so like Ashley mentioned, there's really 2 sides of the system that allow you to communicate and engage with your employees. And again, this just goes right back to attracting and retaining talent, specifically here retaining. There's really something to be said for employees feeling like they're involved with the organization and that their feedback would matter. And that's where we see a lot of impact with surveys. So like Ashley mentioned, we have kind of 2 sides. We have our pre-built surveys you can utilize. Those are built out through what we call every step of the employee life cycle. So maybe someone just onboarded and we want to get their feedback, or they just went through benefit enrollment and we want to know how that went for them. Conversely, maybe someone's leaving the organization, so we just want to get their thoughts on the time with the company or their time with the company. We have these pre-built surveys, but you also have the ability to create one from scratch. It could be something maybe like managerial feedback, understanding how leaders are doing for employees and what they have to say about their leaders. It could also be something fun, like maybe you're having an upcoming board meeting and we want to ask what snacks we want to provide. It's really an effective way to communicate with staff. And here, I'll go through an example of one to showcase how easy it is. So I'll choose the onboarding survey here. And when I choose this, we see that you are able to add additional questions too. So even though we have some pre-built questions that are based off of the ADP Research Institute and their findings, you can add a bit more if you'd like. Now, with our survey in mind here, we're able to select an audience. So let's say this is going to be going out to everyone here, and I want to quickly send this out to all of my staff members. I could do so. I'm also able to schedule the survey. So if I had the foresight or insight to say, all right, I know I want this to go out at the end of the month, I can tell the system the date that I'd like this to be communicated. And finally, when we look at ease of access for employees, as we know, a lot of employees, or I guess not employees, but a lot of really everyone, we're all on our phones these days, and it's really an easy way for us to receive a notice. ADP has a mobile app. It's got 4.7 stars in the App Store with over 2.3 million reviews and downloads, so a very strong resource. Why I mention that is if you send out a survey, that can just beep your employee's mobile phone and say, hey, your leader is requesting that you complete this. They would also receive an email copy to make sure that's not missed. But when it comes to ease of getting in the system, just by being able to do these surveys at their fingertips, they don't need to necessarily reach a computer if they're not able to do so. And in real time, they could still provide your organization with some strong feedback and insight. And that's a little bit on our surveys. Now, the other side of Voice of the Employee that's really impactful is you can send out broadcasts. These are like one-way communications. So some nice applications here. Let's say in your area, there's inclement weather. So we're shutting down our offices for the day and we want to tell our employees, hey, work from home, don't drive in today. Or maybe it's something fun like we're recognizing a birthday or an anniversary. Just like a survey, this will go out through the ADP mobile app and also an email copy. But a broadcast is typically more of just that one-way communication. We can easily choose who this is going to go out to. Just like a survey, we can schedule this if we have that forecast or insight on when this would need to be delivered. And you can preview this as well, so we know exactly what an employee is going to see when they receive this survey, and it pops up on their mobile phone. How easy is it for them, and what would they be looking at? Now, finally, the last piece here is that you can take action based on your results. Within the Voice of the Employee tool, what you're actually able to do is analyze and look at data on something like a closed survey or broadcast. So here, let me get one pulled up that I know is finished here. All right, so here's one that I know I have some good results for. But what you can do is look at your data. So we can see, all right, based on folks who have responded, I know that my questions have been answered in a certain way. I can even see like a score distribution. So I know based on this area, where am I seeing the heaviest concentration? Are we seeing a lot of top heavy scores? Is it evenly distributed throughout? And these results can also be exported and taken out of the system. So when we're really looking at keeping our employees engaged and understanding how they're feeling, Voice of the Employee is a really impactful tool. And like Ashley mentioned at the start, just built right into the ADP technology, and for your employees would be built right into that app too, that they might be using for other features like check-in pay stubs, accessing tax documents. So we found that it's a very accessible and easy to navigate solution. But all right, everyone. Ashley, I will turn it back to you.
Awesome. Yeah, very, very cool tool. We're really proud of it. I love that you mentioned that mobile piece that comes up a lot, especially with that utilization and that adoption when employees are used to going in for something that they're looking at for their paycheck stub, their information. It helps just drive that adoption of these tools. All right, so I believe we had some questions come through, so I wanted to turn that back to Courtney to help facilitate where we go from here.
Yes, Ashley, that's correct. So we are wrapping up, and thank you for our great presenters, from the demos to the insights to the trends and the product. There was a lot we covered here. So if you do have any questions, now is the time to get those in. So you can either put your questions in the question section of your GoToWebinar box or in the chat box. We'll be monitoring either one. And in the meantime, while we're getting those questions, and we do just want to ask you one more poll. So this one is just asking, would you like to be contacted with more information? So I know we covered a lot here. So if you want to be sent some more information, if you'd like to talk to someone, if you'd like to see a personalized demo that really speaks to your business needs, or if you're just here to learn and get some of those insights, we're happy to hear from you either way. And we'll leave that open just a little while longer. And thank you for everyone who's responded so far. And then we're going to get right into the Q&A. So get those questions ready. And we are closing out this poll. Thank you everyone for participating. And now we're going to go into Q&A. So I think I've got some across the board for you guys, Bradley, Ashley, Lauren. I think we're going to touch on a little bit of everything. So for our first question, this one is about what we were just seeing in the demo. So Bradley, how often or what frequency do most clients send out those employee surveys?
Ooh, good question. I've seen it done in a few different cadences. I would say it ultimately depends on the needs of the organization. If we have a lot of employees that are being onboarded and new hires, you might be sending out onboarding surveys once a week. The benefit surveys typically once a year, or maybe surrounding new hires. Hopefully we don't have to send out employee exit surveys very often, and that we're retaining all of our favorite staff, but it really allows you to send as many as you need. So I'd say my short answer is it depends, but you have no limit on how many you might want to send out or utilize.
Okay,
I would add too, Brad, that engagement survey, the cadence that I've seen on that is typically quarterly. Most organizations want to get an understanding, more or less in real time. So that quarterly ended up making sense from an organizational standpoint to just understand how are people feeling? Has there been a drop in engagement? Is there something happening maybe we as leaders aren't aware of that we want to be proactive and address? So the engagement survey at a, again, a cadence of quarterly, some do it yearly, some do it biannually, but I think quarterly really helps just capture how are our people feeling.
Okay, thank you both. And this one is a bit more to, the ability to post jobs. So the first part is, how can I see the job boards that my jobs are posted on if I'm using this feature?
All right, so I could take that one. That's a great question. So we advertise that we post to 100+ job boards, but in reality, we have thousands of partners that we can send clients and employers jobs to. So we do generate a custom list for each job, but it is fluid, meaning that we want to ensure that they're at the most relevant sites in real time. So you can always look at this list that we have. It's ziprecruiter.com/job-sites. And that will show you and give you a really good idea of a lot of the job sites that we partner with. It's not comprehensive because, like I said, there's quite literally thousands. However, it does give you a really good idea of some of the really big players that we partner with, and it's a pretty healthy list. So again, that's ziprecruiter.com/job-sites, like the minus sign in between. And that'll give you a really good idea. So you can always look at that list, but it's not a complete, real-time list, as it's custom and really fluid in real time.
Great. And to the second part of that question, will then applicants be able to apply to these jobs via a mobile device?
Yes. Yep, they will certainly be able to do that. And, we recommend employers keeping the job posting not super lengthy so that it is a really good mobile experience for the person that is applying. And again, on the employer side, that's where it might be helpful if you want to, and if you can, turn on that zip apply, which is that easy apply function that allows them to, pull in their profile that they already have. But what I can also tell you about that is that we are the fastest growing online employment marketplace for both desktop and mobile. And from the kind of mobile experience, we are the #1 rated job seeker app on iOS and Android, and have been for the past 6 years. So we're really, really focused on providing an awesome experience all around for the employer, but also that job seeker on mobile.
That's another reason Zip and ADP have such a great relationship, is just that, having that embedded. That's really our goal and our focus as well, is we're looking to make all of our products and all of our features eventually all device agnostic. So that's something that is a big initiative on the ADP side of things. So from a applicant tracking system, from a learning management system, the voice of the employee, like Brad's been talking through, those are all mobile enabled.
Yeah,
Okay.
and one last point I forgot to point out, this is a pretty big one. We know that 68% of job applications are submitted through mobile. So we definitely can do it, and that's kind of the preferred method in terms of candidates applying.
That's really insightful to know, that mobile applications have increased that much, I would think. And I think this is going to be our final question, perhaps, unless we, have a last-minute submission, another one from the audience. But I want to kind of put this to all of you. So we've talked about a lot of trends here today, a lot of ways to address those trends with the different solutions and how tech comes into play. And we're all, as the title of the webinar is, worried about attracting and retaining talent. So I want to put to you guys, what do you think, if there's one thing that a company could focus on this year in regards to these trends, what's the most important thing from an employee perspective that companies can do? Or what do you guys think is the most important trend that we discussed here today?
I can take
big loaded question.
Yeah, I would love to hear from the other two as well. I agree with the group here. Everyone talked about that investment in employee experience, and I think when you have those times of uncertainty, when your employees are maybe feeling that strain, and you, again, executives, practitioners, maybe you're stressed or maybe you're not sure what's coming next, your employees feel that too. So that investment back into that employee experience, taking care of your employees, making sure they're heard, making sure they have the tools to be successful in their role, that they have that sense of ownership and pride in what they're doing, that in turn is going to have the biggest fiscal effects, right? When you can tie that strategy around, employee engagement, productivity, and output, it becomes very profitable. And when you take care of your employees, they'll take care of your customers, and it's just a perpetuating cycle. So I loved that was how everyone else felt, was the employee investment experience. I think secondarily, the leadership piece is really important, because frontline leaders have such an impact on individuals, and people don't, the old adage is true, people don't quit jobs, they quit managers. So having, again, that leadership in alignment with what your goal is in investing back in your people is really that 1-2 punch. I don't know if anyone else would add. Brad, I don't know if you have any thoughts.
I would agree. I was thinking too, like the employee experience and engagement is such a big piece, especially to something you mentioned is like the fiscal results that come from happy employees. I mean, turnover is expensive. It costs money to recruit new individuals. And just for an organization's bottom line, our employees that are happy, there's usually a correlation between happy performers or happy employees and folks that are performing. And of course, high performers invest back in your organization. And that really starts with a strong foundation of, like Ashley mentioned, giving employees strong tools, helping them feel engaged, helping them feel welcome with the organization. So I think a lot of these pieces are all really important trends, but happy and engaged employees, to me, that stands out as one of the pieces that is really impactful right now.
Thank you guys. Anything, Lauren, I don't want to cut you off if you have something to say.
No, I really do agree with what they said. I think, and I think additionally, like hiring top talent, super important, but we can't forget, it's like a balanced seesaw. We can't forget about retaining that good talent that you already have, and, making sure you get referrals, because there's nothing better than a really quality referral from a really happy employee. And so I think it's important to do both, and for companies to be in a position to not only hire that top talent, but additionally retain that top talent. And you can do that in ways that are so easy. But even some of the stuff that ADP was talking about with voice of the employee, like I think it's really important to get that real feedback and implement it. And I think the quicker you can do that, the more you'll have happier clients. But of course, speaking on the Zip and ADP front, we can make it really, really easy to hire through our solution as well. So a lot of great tools ADP has, and I think they will all really make hiring and retaining that top talent awesome.
Yes, and I mean, to piggyback off Lauren, these are trends, that we're seeing. So these are new things that are emerging. Definitely the need to really improve the employee experience we've all seen rise in the past few years. So while it can seem like something big to tackle, I mean, ADP, ZipRecruiter, you've both showed us here today in your combined solution that it is possible, and technology can make it much, much easier to really provide these things and make these changes. So thank you all for a great presentation today. I think that wraps up the Q&A, and everyone can get a little extra time back into their day, which I know we all need. So thank you for being with us, audience members and my wonderful presenters, and we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Answer the survey at the follow-up survey when you leave if you'd like some more information, or reach out to your SWK account representative, and they can connect you with Ashley, Bradley, Lauren, and their teams to really figure out how to best help your company. So everyone have a wonderful rest of your day, and we thank you.